Welcome to the Purple Mash webinar on Unit 2.4 from our computing scheme of work entitled Teaching Questioning. In this webinar, we will look at the skills and knowledge needed to teach this Unit 2.4. We will look at the key vocabulary, how to create and use a binary tree with the tool ToQuestion, and how the database tool ToInvestigate can be used to answer specific questions. Let's look first of all at how you find Unit 2.4 in our computing scheme of work. You can access our computing scheme of work either via the computing button here in the subjects area, and here it is up the top, or you can access it via the planning tab in the teachers area, and here it is. Let's click through to year 2 and open up Unit 2.4, the questioning unit. First of all, I'm going to open up the lesson plans. So as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lessons, and they use 3 of the tools in Purple Mash. If I go back to the tools area here, into the tools area, the 3 tools that are used in this unit are this one here, ToCount, which is our pictogram tool, ToQuestion, which is our branching database tool, and ToInvestigate, which is our collaborative databasing tool. Let's go back to the lesson plans and have a look at lesson number 1. You can see in the lesson plans here we have the aim, the success criteria, and the resources. If I come back here into Unit 2.4 questioning unit, there is a slideshow that goes along with each of the 5 lessons. There is a knowledge organizer, which I'll click on now to have a look at my key learning, my key resources, the vocabulary that children are going to be learning in this unit, and some key images that they're going to encounter throughout this unit, and some questions to assess their understanding. Some other resources that you'll find in here in the unit are the concept map, which if I open this up, you might want to use this concept map as a starting point for teaching this unit, gauging how much the children already know about pictograms, binary trees, and perhaps databases. Alternatively, you could use this concept map as a prompt for discussion around what the children have understood once you've taught the unit. The other resource you could use here is the end of unit quiz, which you could set as a to-do for your class to complete to assess their understanding of what they've learnt in this unit. So underneath the lesson plans and slideshows, concept map and quiz are all the resources that you will need for each of the lessons in this unit. Some of these resources are printable resources. If they have the PDF banner at the top there, they are things to print off ahead of the lesson. Let's dive now into lesson number 1, and I'm going to download the slideshow. So here is the slideshow that accompanies lesson 1, where children will be using and creating pictograms to represent information. The aims and the success criteria on the first couple of slides there. And then you have the vocabulary slide, which is in all the PowerPoints for all of the lesson plans within our computing scheme of work. This introduces the children to the vocabulary they're going to be learning in this particular lesson. So this lesson looks at the types of homes that children might live in. There is an activity sheet that the children can then complete, and if I click on this directly from the slideshow, it would open up in my web browser, and I could have printed this off ahead of the lesson for the children to complete. And you would then collate that information into this spreadsheet, which again I'm going to click on directly from the slideshow. This brings me into a pre-made spreadsheet made in our tool called ToCalculate, into which you could enter the data of the types of homes the children in your class live in. So for example, how many children live in a detached house? 6 children there. How many in semi-detached? And you'll notice when I enter some data into the cells here, it is totaling up in the total column here. So you would enter in the data here for what is your home made from, how many rooms in your home, and how many people live in your home. You can then export this spreadsheet as a CSV file, which you can use later on in the lesson or for future lessons. Moving on in lesson number 1, we would then look at this pictogram that's already been pre-made. Let's click on this from the slideshow. This will again open up in my browser. I can then either click on the picture itself and it will add that data onto the pictogram, or I can use the numbers there. I can also use the takeaway to reduce the number in the column. I can also add my class name in here. I can then either save that data into my Purple Mash files, or I can export it as a PNG file. The last part of lesson 1 then has some questions that you could ask the children to see if they can extract specific information from the pictogram that you've created, or that perhaps they've created independently. They could then go on to create their own pictogram, and you could have set to count as a to-do so the children could access it directly from their to-do area. And lastly, there's an extension activity where the children can dive a little bit deeper into this particular pictogram where there are some issues, where some information is not included. In lesson number 2, we begin to introduce the use of binary trees by asking simple yes and no questions. We have again the aims, the success criteria, the vocabulary that was introduced in the previous lesson, and the new vocabulary that will be taught this lesson. And then the children begin by looking at different shapes, asking some questions that will differentiate the features of these particular objects. You then have a printable resource where the children can explore the characters that you can print out directly from the resource area. Starting with just 4 of these avatar characters, the children can begin to use differentiating questions with yes and no answers to play a sort of guess who game. The purpose of playing this yes, no, guess who type avatar game is to prepare the children to build their own binary tree in the next lesson using the tool to question. So in lesson number 3, where children begin to explore and construct their own binary tree using the tool to question, you can either use the avatars from the previous lesson 2, or you can use the animal cards. So in lesson 3, the children will be guided through how to begin creating their own binary tree, choosing whether they go with the avatars or the animal pictures, then thinking of a question and splitting the group of animals or avatars into 2 groups so that each of the questions will only have the answer yes or no. It's very important for the children to think about what kinds of questions are going to differentiate their groups into 2 smaller groups. Questions need to be around physical, observable features of the objects that they're categorizing. Questions such as, do the people have red hair? Or do the animals have legs? Yes or no? Once they have decided on their differentiating questions, they can repeat this until they've reached the end of their binary tree. You could record your binary tree on the binary tree outcome here in the resources area. If you wanted to do a larger version of this, you could use the yes and no arrows that you could print out ahead of the lesson and create a large version of the binary tree either on your whiteboard or on the floor of the classroom. In lesson number 4, we begin to dive a bit deeper into what a binary tree does and how to use it to collect information. Whether you've been using the avatars or the animals from lesson number 3, you can click through from the slideshow to the actual branching database that's been pre-made. Let's play this binary tree branching database and answer the yes-no questions about the animal's features.
It is a starfish named Ashley.
As you play the pre-made animal binary tree, the children could complete the names of the animals in this worksheet. So the starfish here is called Ashley. In lesson number 5, we begin to use a non-binary database where the children can search for and answer more complicated questions. Again, in the slideshow, we have a direct link to the database that we'll be using. And here it is. This has opened up the tool called To Investigate. In this database, you will see each of the characters and the avatar game has its own record. Here is Chantel with her picture there, and the different fields represent the information that we know about Chantel. Exploring how information is presented in this database, the children will learn about records, fields, and how to use the Find tool to specifically identify information that we're wanting to find. So let's use the Find tool now here in this database. The Find tool is found up the top here, and I can specify what it is that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a boy who has a tie. So I'm going to specify what I'm looking for in this find box here and click OK. You can see that the records at the top here all are boys and they are wearing a tie, and all the other avatars and characters are not. If you set this database as a to-do for the children to access via their to-do area, they can then work with a partner to answer some of these questions on the slideshow related to the information in the database. There is a further extension activity where the children can investigate the fruit database, which is one of the pre-made databases in the tool to investigate. Let's launch to investigate and find the fruit database. Here it is. And as you can see, if I dive into one of these records here, we have specific information in the different fields. You could, if you wanted to, edit the database here by adding on your own fields questions. What other information do the children want to know about fruit? There's my new field. Is it sweet? And I'm going to use an answer list. Yes and no. The only way to answer that question, is it sweet, is to actually taste the fruit, which is where the fun happens.